Welcome to Verify This, the show that answers your questions and separates fact from fiction so you can determine whether viral claims online are true or false. I'm your host, Brandon Lewis. Here's a quick look at what we're covering today on Verify This. Is there an official definition of a recession? Does the suicide hotline track callers' locations? Is oil from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve going overseas? Will closing doors help keep your home cool? And is the world's clearest lake located here in the U.S.? The answers to these questions and more are coming up on Verify This. First, we love to hear from you. So as we go along, tag us on your favorite social media app at Verify This, or sign up for our daily Fast Facts and then text with us at 202-410-8808. The U.S.'s gross domestic product declined for the second straight quarter in July, and some economists suggested this means we're in a recession. A lot of you texted us questions about whether that's really how the U.S. defines a recession. So we got you some answers. For the last few days, you've probably heard the word recession a lot. On July 28th, the Commerce Department reported the nation's gross domestic product, or GDP, fell at an annual rate of nearly 1% for the second quarter of the year. This marked 2 consecutive quarters of decline, a marker that some other countries and economists use to indicate a possible recession. The economic numbers prompted many people online to argue we're in the midst of a recession, while the White House said that is not what the decline means. Many Verify viewers texted us to say they're confused about what a recession even means. So let's get to the basics and verify. Is there an official definition of a recession? Our sources are the National Bureau of Economic Research, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the International Monetary Fund, and Alan Ginn, an economist with the University of San Diego. In the U.S., a committee within the National Bureau of Economic Research officially declares when we're in or out of a recession. The NBER is a nonprofit independent research organization that considers several economic factors, not just GDP, when deciding if the U.S. is officially in a recession.
Income, spending, industrial production, and employment. And so if you follow those, that gives you an idea of where the economy actually is, and that is a broader measure than just looking at the GDP.
But these things take time to analyze, which means the NBER often takes several quarters before declaring a recession. Sometimes they even declare one after it's already over. So yes, there is an official definition of a recession in the U.S. It's set by the NBER, and it's not just 2 consecutive quarters of GDP decline. Ginn says he doesn't think we meet that definition yet because the job market and wages remain strong.
I don't think we are currently in one, but the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates. Inflation is taking a bite then out of consumers, and so we could possibly have a negative impact then in the future.
We answered more of your questions about the economy. Just go to verifythis.com and search for economy to find our stories. The U.S. rolled out a new, shorter number for the suicide lifeline in July. Ariane Datil looks into a viral claim that 988 is tracking callers' locations.
911, what's your emergency?
When someone calls 911, dispatchers use geolocation through data acquired from a person's phone to pinpoint the location where an emergency call was placed and send police or other emergency services to that location. Some people online are claiming that calls to 988, the nation's new 3-digit mental health crisis lifeline, which connects callers experiencing a crisis with trained mental health counselors, will also automatically send a person's location to the police. But is that true? Does the 988 suicide prevention lifeline automatically send your location to police? Let's verify. Our sources are the Federal Communications Commission, 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline, and the National Emergency Number Association. The FCC determines which companies and services are allowed to use geolocation. They told Verify that unlike 911, geolocation services are not currently enabled for 988. That applies to call, text, and chat features. According to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline website, the lifeline will route a person's call to a mental health counselor at their nearest crisis center by using their phone number's area code. 988 doesn't directly transfer calls to 911, according to April Hines, 911 operations director for the nonprofit National Emergency Number Association. If a person is at imminent risk of harming themselves or someone else and is unwilling or unable to share their location information, counselors will provide any information they have, such as a person's phone number or a chat user's computer IP address, to 911 operators. Then the 911 dispatcher uses the phone number or IP address to locate the caller and send police. But according to NINA and SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, this is rare. They said fewer than 2% of calls require this type of action. So we can verify, no. The 988 Suicide Prevention Lifeline does not automatically send your location to police. They could, however, share some of your information with 911, which the police could use to locate you if they think you could be at risk of harming yourself or others. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Adiane recently hosted a special report about the rise of youth suicide. You can watch it on our Verify This YouTube page, along with our extended expert interviews and lots of other fact checks. While you're there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The U.S. is continuing to sell oil from the nation's emergency reserves in an effort to help lower the soaring price of gas. So we looked into your questions about where that oil is actually going. Dozens of Verify viewers reached out to us with questions about the U.S. releasing oil from its Strategic Petroleum Reserve. A Reuters article claims that at least 5 million barrels of that oil has ended up in other countries. And you asked us to find out if this really happened. So let's verify. Has oil from U.S. reserves been sent to other countries? Our sources are the Department of Energy, Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy, Ed Hers, a University of Houston Energy Fellow, and Hugh Daigle with the University of Texas at Austin. When the U.S. releases oil from its reserves, it doesn't automatically go to American refineries. Instead, the DOE puts barrels up for sale in a global auction. The idea is the more oil available for sale, the lower the demand and price. During the last auction on June 14th, the U.S. sold about 40 million barrels, including some that were bought by subsidiaries of companies run by foreign countries, including China, Norway, and Saudi Arabia. Hers tells Verify some of the winning buyers sent oil from the reserve overseas. Daigle points to a report from trade analytics firm Kepler that he says estimated 5 million barrels of oil sold at the June auction went abroad. So, yes, oil from U.S. reserves has been sent to other countries. The auction winners are legally allowed to do whatever they want with the oil they buy, like process it at American refineries or ship it overseas. The U.S. used to ban exporting crude oil worldwide, but in 2015, Congress lifted the ban after crude oil production nearly doubled during the previous 6 years. Since then, Presidents Obama, Trump, and Biden have all sold crude oil from the nation's reserves to the global market. It's time for this week's Did You Know, where we feature one relatively unknown, interesting fact that we, of course, verified. So here goes. Did you know the Choco Taco has been discontinued? We wish it wasn't so, but Klondike says it's true. The dessert maker cut the popular taco-shaped ice cream sandwich because other products became more popular in recent years. But Choco Taco had a good run. It was invented in 1983 and has delighted children of all ages every summer since, including me. If you like that Did You Know, sign up for our daily newsletter. It has a new Did You Know every day, as well as 3 fast facts and more of our most recent stories. To sign up, go to verifythis.com/email. Without the Choco Taco, you'll need all the help you can get to stay cool. And that brings us to our viewer spotlight of the week. Sally emailed us to ask about whether closing doors can really help save you money and beat the heat. So Sally, here's the answer. Temperatures are over 100 degrees in parts of the U.S., and we're all looking for ways to stay cool without burning a hole in our wallets. Verify viewer Sally emailed us to ask whether closing doors in her house will help save money with central air conditioning. So Sally, let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy, Texas-based Garland Power and Light, and Phoenix-based Precision Air and Plumbing. A central AC system is designed with supply and return vents strategically placed throughout your home. It's built to efficiently move air around the house. When you close a door, you break up the airflow and lower the efficiency of the system. Precision Air and Plumbing goes so far to say shutting doors is one of the worst things you can do. It's right up there with closing vents and beating your outside unit with a sledgehammer. So, no, closing doors will not help save money with a central air conditioner. If you have a window AC, then it's a different story. Those work by blowing air into a specific room of the house. Garland Power and Light says by closing the door, you're trapping the cool air and helping the unit run more efficiently. Thanks, Sally, for sending us your question. What makes this show special is when you send us your questions or some of those crazy claims you see. So if you see something going viral on your feed and want to know if it's true, just tag us in it at Verify This using your favorite social media. And you could be featured, like Sally, in an upcoming episode of Verify This. One of my favorite places to visit is Montana, and I'll always remember going by Flathead Lake on my way to Glacier National Park. It's unforgettable because of how clear it is, but is it the world's clearest lake, as claimed in a viral tweet? Ariane Daytil gets us the clear answer with the help of a unique device.
A viral claim about the clearest lake in the world is making waves on social media. And it all started with this viral tweet, which claims Flathead Lake in Montana has the clearest water on Earth. That tweet has since been liked nearly 400,000 times. So let's clear this up. Does Flathead Lake in Montana have the clearest water on Earth? Our sources are the Flathead Lakers, the North American Lake Management Society, and New Zealand's National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research. Before we verify which lake is the clearest, let me show you how water clarity is measured using this. The Secchi disc is usually attached to a tape measure or a rope with pre-marked measurements. You lower the disc into the water, and when you can't see the disc anymore, boom, you take the measurement. The average Secchi depth recorded in American lakes is less than 11 feet, according to the North American Lake Management Society. Secchi disc readings can vary based on the amount of glare on the water and the motion in the water. Secchi disc readings at Flathead Lake from 1977 to 2018 were typically between 30 and 50 feet, according to the Flathead Lakers, a nonprofit that works to protect the water quality of the Flathead watershed. There are at least 4 lakes in the U.S. that are clearer than Flathead Lake, ranging from a Secchi depth of 64 feet to as deep as 157 feet. But none of those come close to the clearest lake in the world. That is New Zealand's Blue Lake, which researchers say has visibility similar to pure water and a Secchi reading between 230 and 262 feet. So we can verify, no, Flathead Lake in Montana does not have the clearest water of any lake on Earth. Its water isn't even the clearest among American lakes. With your Verify and a new love of measuring water clarity, I'm Ariane Daytil.
We have time for one last Did You Know before we go. My nephews love to touch the starfish at the aquarium, but did you know starfish don't have a brain? They have a nervous system that centralizes around their mouths, which causes them to react to their surroundings and predators. And seawater pumps through their bodies to help deliver nutrients. Mind-blowing, I know. On behalf of our entire Verify team, I hope you enjoyed our show and learned something new today. I'm your host, Brandon Lewis. Don't forget, there are many more stories on our website, Verify This, and please click the watch button to see even more of our stories. As always, if there's something else you want us to verify, just sign up for our free daily fast facts by texting Verify to 202-410-8808. Once you're signed up, you can text us your claims or questions using the same number. If you send your question to us as a video, you could end up in our show. Our number is still on your screen, so lock us in and we'll see you back here next week with answers to more of your questions verified.